Hello everybody, this is Tamer Bloba coming at you with another Kindred Fates patch notes video. This time we have the patch 2.0 for the Combat Alpha Arena. It's been quite some time since I've actually been able to delve into patch notes in this detail, so I'm looking forward to going over it with you guys. It's finally here. This is without a doubt the biggest update to Combat Arena Alpha so far, and with it comes the long-anticipated practice room. We've also added 7 new NPCs to train against and made serious improvements to the game's performance stability, added a new mecha type ability, updated the music, and more. There's a ton to cover this time, so let's get right into it. We have the practice room. Here's a little picture of it. So you see that mech, you can find it. Practice room is a single player arena that can be accessed from the main menu by clicking play, then practice. Here you can easily try out your kinfolk's abilities, improve your skills against the AI, practice combos, experiment with new strategies, and generally get comfortable with the game's combat outside of online PvP. The room itself also contains many useful features such as kinfolk NPC AI, sparring partners that are always there for you. Scattered around the edges of the room, you'll find NPCs excuse me, for each of the currently playable kinfolk. They're pretty laid back most of the time, but if you attack one of them, they're more than happy to give you a fight. If you defeat them in combat, they'll respawn right back where you started, so you continue practicing for as long as you like. Each species of kinfolk behaves uniquely from others in combat, complete with strategies geared to their particular move pool. You might find that some of the AI are more challenging than others. With this being the debut of our NPCs and their AI, there are bound to be a few bugs and quirks. Rest assured, we plan to continue polishing these up and making improvements whenever needed. We're looking forward to hearing your feedback. The item pickups. Head to the upper level of the practice room and you'll find many useful pickups to interact with. On the left, you'll see colored circles with item icons for each of the currently available held items in the combat arena. Simply walk up into a circle and your kinfolk will be given an item to hold. On the right, you'll find similar arrangement of colored circles. Simply walk into the circle and you'll see your active kinfolk change to match the kinfolk of the circle you walked into. Keep in mind, at the moment, you're only able to have one of each kinfolk in your party, so stepping into a circle containing kinfolk that's already in your party won't do anything. Hurt, heal, and revive. Between the item pickup and the kinfolk pickup, there's 3 more circles. The pink one deals damage, the green one heals, and the yellow one revives any defeated members of your party. They will continue activating as long as you stand in them. Time of day controls. On the opposite end of the room, you'll see a transparent glass wall with icons for different times of day. To change the time of day, just shoot one of the icons with any skill shot. The time will change to match the icon that was hit. Gameplay changes. Performance improvements. Massive optimizations have been made across the board. We took a look at all of the code, trimmed the fat where we could, and we factored in other places. In general, it vastly improves frame rates and FPS across the board, with some of us having as much as 200% increase. One particular stress test relating to character controllers, we saw frame rate go from 3 to 70. We've also identified other places where improvements can be made in future patches to continue boosting frame rates even further. And then for the stability improvements, the game is more resilient across multiple matches. Now, when you go back to the main menu for practice mode or from a normal alpha arena match, you start from a completely clean slate. This means there should be fewer instances of having to restart your client to play again. Revamped arena logic. The code behind our arena logic is now cleaner and more extensible. This should have relatively little impact on the player side for now, but it makes coding the future game modes, such as 2v2, much easier. Aim canceling. This is a simple improvement that has really improved the flow of combat for nearly every character. You can now cancel into other abilities while aiming by pressing their key. Yes, that is a very, very, very look forward to feature. For example, you're playing Ember, you're aiming at Scorch, and you press the key for Fire Spin. Scorch will immediately cancel aiming, and Ember will use Fire Spin. Any ability that has an aiming mode can be cancelled into any other ability this way. This is especially helpful when using aimed abilities that have multiple charges, since it means you're now able to quickly place just 1 or 2 charges and instantly cancel into another ability without retapping the key for the ability that's currently being aimed. And then stat changes. In a recent patch, we made a change how it affected stat buffs and debuffs are reset during combat. It wasn't mentioned anywhere in the patch notes previously, but it's something we're continuing to try out with this patch. In short, your changes to your stats no longer reset when swapping kinfolk. Some users might have already noticed this while playing. We thought it was probably best to let you know about it here too. It might be finally time to equip those party members one of those fancy debuff abilities. I do agree that this could very well help with debuffs and making debuffs more usable and adding some extra variety, but you got to be careful because that permanent buffs could be kind of overpowered in the way that buffs don't really cost you anything besides a few seconds of time, where debuffs you have to actually put yourself at risk of getting hit because you have to get really close to your opponent to actually use debuffs. For buffs, you can like run behind cover and buff up, or buff up while your opponent's sleeping or something like that. I guess you could debuff them while they're sleeping too, but generally speaking, buffs are safer than debuffs, so buffs are automatically stronger than debuffs. But we'll see how it goes. Updated music. The combat menu and valuable music tracks have been polished and updated to the most recent versions. The next public update to these tracks will include live recordings. Now we have the new ability, Crush. Mecha type, base power 30, physical. The user slams down in front of them, crushing their enemy with the weight of their armor, attacking 20 power for each stage your defense has raised. Usable Mecha and Shovelet. Your physical, any of your special stats can be raised 6 stages, so you can get like 120 extra damage onto this, and it does base damage of 30, so that is nothing to scoff at, especially when you have that high of a physical defense. You're going to be very hard to kill. I seriously don't think this is going to work on Shovelet. Like, you have to replace 2 abilities on Shovelet to make this work, where you pretty much every Shovelet wants Dig and Quicksand. That's pretty much non-negotiable, and that means you'd have to give Rock Slide and Rest up for this, so I don't think it's going to be really that good on Shovelet. But on Mechid, you maybe could get it to work, because Mechid, you could have something like Iron Fist, Crush, Fortify, then Rush, maybe. That could be a potential combo. I'm just coming up with things off the top of my head for what could maybe work with it, but I'll definitely be playing around with it, though, on both Shovelet and Mechid, and just seeing how it feels on both of them. And then for bug fixes. Fix many bugs caused by the addition of the practice room before it was introduced. Fix many bugs related to the NPCs and their AI before they were introduced. And fix the broken flower shaders in Forest and Riverside. And the known issues are, excuse me. Currently, there's no visualization to display how much kinfolk stats have been raised or lowered during combat. Plan to add visualizations to address this future patch. Beautiful. Occasionally, NPCs will stop responding in the practice room. Temporary fix is to leave it and return. And currently, NPCs are unresponsive in the first 6 seconds upon entering. When your party is revived, if they all die in the practice room, the kinfolk in your first slot is not revived. Some visuals for Crush are not populated this rate in the practice room. Shovelet's NPC has no name. He will no doubt be named Shovelbutt in the next patch. They rightly should. The visual effect that signifies whether buffing an ability has successfully applied the buff to the character always plays, regardless whether or not the kinfolk was attempting to buff themselves but was interrupted and prevented from receiving the buff. The damage descriptions for several abilities that do not have tick damage show total tick damage now. Occasionally, players with low ping did not return to the current starting position between rounds. Large AoE attacks currently only damage 1 minion at a time. On rare occasions, one team member begins the second round of combat with abilities locked. Occasionally, attempting to cancel searching for a game results in matchmaker locking up, and oftentimes, team cannot be edited while searching for a game. I like this. It won't let me do it right now, but anyways, as you saw, quite a few changes. And since this video has already gone on for so long already, almost 10 minutes of just patch note reading, I'll make a separate video delving deeper into the practice arena, and that will be coming out on Monday. Because, yeah, this video is going to be going up on Sunday. So I'm going to post that video on Monday with me delving in and giving you my first impressions of the practice arena. And we might do some special videos with AI at some point later on in the future as well. But until then, I'm Bloba, signing off. You all have a wonderful day. Goodbye. God bless. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.